Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us in today's webinar on higher customer experience through digital transformation. So, in today's webinar, we are going to talk about how digital transformation empowers different industries to deliver exceptional customer experience and gain high return on investment. We will also discuss several challenges faced by enterprises on the road to digital transformation, operational use cases of digital transformation in various sectors, and how we can develop a digital transformation strategy for unlocking business success. We would be keeping all the mics on mute during the session, so feel free to ask any questions when we will be announcing the question answer session at the end of this webinar, and maybe then we can answer all your questions during that session. In case the stipulated time runs out, we would be happy to address it one-on-one after the session as per your convenience. So to start off with, let me give you a quick introduction about Hidden Brains. Hidden Brains serving into digital transformation space with multiple different technologies since past 19 years and serving a global clientele of almost 2,400 plus clients with a talent pool of 500 plus resources. Gaining a cutting edge over the market through their various digital transformation platforms, Hidden Brains has received many prestigious awards in the industry for their quality and commitment being delivered throughout their journey. So Hidden Brains is bringing this webinar to you today, and we have with us our speakers for today's webinar. So I have Mr. Zubair Ahmed with me, who is the Manager of Enterprise Solutions. Along with him, I have Mr. Vidyasagar Tiwari, who is the Assistant Vice President of Sales, and they will be giving you more insights on how customer experience can be enhanced with digital transformation. So Zubair, I would like you to continue on this and take this session forward.
Sure. So thank you so much for this wonderful introduction, Chintan. And I welcome all the attendees in today's webinar session, highlighting on digital transformation strategies, how it can help enterprises to boost ROI, and how it helps in improving the customer experience. So let's get started with today's topic. So just to give you some brief on the topics we shall be highlighting today are more on the lines of overview surrounding digital transformation. We shall be highlighting the advantages of digitizing customer experience. We will also be talking the advantages at an enterprise level. You will also get to know what are the costs for not going with digital. And you will also learn how to become a digitally matured enterprise. What are the challenges on the road of adopting digital transformation? Most importantly, we shall be highlighting the industry-specific use cases, their benefits surrounding enterprise and customers both. You will also get to know the technologies, the backbone behind the digital transformation journey. And most importantly, we will be highlighting the best strategies for developing the digital transformation. In the end, we will have the Q&A answer session. So feel free to ask if you have any questions. We will be happy to address that. So let's begin with the overview on digital transformation. So when it comes to digital transformation for any enterprise or business, we always believe it requires digitalization of every business operation. The different operations require the functional areas, the processes that we handle and deal into the businesses, enterprises needs to be digitalized, right? And then comes redefinition of how the business operates, right? So there are different set of things that we do into the business. So how we define, how we redefine it by adopting the latest tools, technology is something redefine it, right? And this leads to delivering the real world value to the customers, right? So let us see what the statistics says about driving the customer experience through digital transformation. So we have a Statista which says that by 2023, companies' efforts to transform digitally have largely begun, and they are going broader and deeper which means it forecasts that the contribution of this entire transformation is increasing the half of the global GDP, right? And even Forbes adds to it that 44% of the companies have already started a digital first approach to their operations and customer engagement. PwC also says into this that 86% of their customers expects a seamless experience across all devices and channels. Now, these are the facts and figures that we have bringing on table from all these research experts, right? So, what do you think, Vidya? I mean, what are the costs for not going digital?
So, Zubair, as we talked about what statistics told and how digital adoption is happening across different industry and domain. But suppose if you are not going digital, because we believe that digital way is the way of life for every business in this century. And if you are not going digital, somebody else will be going digital, and then you will be losing out your customers. There will be a huge customer churn where your customer will move to somebody else who is providing a better customer experience by adopting right set of technology. The another way is again a poor customer experience because you do not have those tools, those technologies, those techniques in place that enhance user engagement with your products and services. And again, without utilizing the right set of technology, there is always an increase in operational cost. So in order to improve all those things, we have to adopt technology somewhere down the line. If we are not doing this, we will be at a huge loss, and then there will be even problem in decision making because you are not gathering key insights, because you don't have the tool applied at the front end of customer engagement from where you get the customer footprints and then you derive some meaningful insight out of it. So these are, you can say, some of the cost. Apart from that, there are many more that we can talk about.
Correct, definitely.
And there are some advantages when people talk about, okay, why should I go digital? So when we talk about adopting digital set of technology, there is an always advantage in order to do it. The most important advantage that I talk about is you can streamline your entire workflow. You can get accurate data insight for right decision making. You can reduce your operational cost, and reduction is cost is directly you can say deals with an increased ROI, and your business is profitable. And even it helps in better utilization of your assets. So proper tracking can be done, and then you can always increase sales and overall profitability.
Absolutely.
So there are n number of advantages we have.
True, true. Because when you look at the industrial aspect, most of the customers come into the way wherein they cannot manage their assets properly. They don't have proper records.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. The monitoring is low, even if they have some tools in place which monitors it, but they cannot get the real-time analytics out of it, right? So, there is always a lack in terms of decision making, how to properly maintain that.
Now, that's what we are going to talk further. So, Jubair, moving into the next slide, we'll be talking that how we can say an organization become digitally mature and what are the elements that they can adopt in order to be a mature organization digital.
Absolutely. But prior to that, Vidya, let's take one of the poll because we can see we have a good amount of audience here joined. So, guys, this is the time for our first poll. The question will be published onto your screen. Great. So the question says, what is your organization's biggest challenge when it comes to digital transformation? The options are in front of you. We request everyone's active participation into this. We shall be declaring the poll results very shortly. All right, great. So the poll has been ended. So with that, what do you say out of these results?
I really see some interesting permutation and combination here, but most of the people who like answered in this poll are talking about lack of digital initiative leadership.
That's a valid point, I would say, yes. Because the first and topmost thing is always comes from the top management, because if you have a digitally adopted leadership who has a good vision to go ahead and take the business enterprise to a certain level, then of course there is a way, to get things done and stay ahead of the competition. So in the next coming slides, we shall be highlighting those aspects. We should also be showcasing the benefits surrounding customer and enterprise both, by adopting various strategies on the lines of digital. And we will also share you the roadmap, how the transformation journey goes. So let's move ahead with the next session. So here, this is important, guys. I mean, this is something, the quadrants, the chart will explain you how an enterprise can be called as a digitally mature enterprise, or what all are the parameters required for any enterprise to become a digitally mature company, right? So first thing comes is systems of engagement. Now, when you talk about SOE, which is system of engagement, that includes the channels which you have provided for your customers to interact with your services, interact with your business, right? Interact with your operations. That includes the SMS gateway you have provided, the emails or email campaign you are launching, the voice-based tools or the chat-based tools, what kind of social media channels you are using to engage your customers and so on. So this basically provides a 360-degree view to your customers to interact with your services. Then second thing comes, which is again important, is like system of records, right? So all these things comes or falls into the system of records, okay? And it always requires for you how effectively you are managing these tools, how effectively you are establishing the communication between the system of records through your system of engagement as a customer facing tool. That third thing comes is your system of intelligence, right? We have seen system of records that you are providing to the customers. We know how effectively you have to maintain and manage the system of records. The third thing comes, which is very, very important, I would say, Vidya, is system of intelligence. Yes. Because these are basically the cognitive elements that you are providing some sort of additional experience to your customers. How you are tracking your the communication between the system of records through your system of engagement as a customer facing tool. That third thing comes is your system of intelligence, right? We have seen system of records that you are providing to the customers. We know how effectively you have to maintain and manage the system of records. The third thing comes, which is very, very important, I would say, Vidya, is system of intelligence. Yes. Because these are basically the cognitive elements that you are providing some sort of additional experience to your customer. Then comes the system of things, right? So when we say system of things, it means how you are improving the customer experience, like what kind of additional devices and tools you have used, what kind of added edge you are offering to your customers along with your business experience. So do you have some sensor-based techniques available? Do you have some beacon-based techniques available, and so on, right? What kind of platform you are providing to your customers to interact with you? Are you managing all of these things through a cloud computing based system, or you have again everything on a on a legacy based channels, right? So these all things comes as a part of system of things. Now talking about these four major pillar elements, when you have something done on these lines, then definitely you can claim that you are a digitally mature enterprise.
And it's, right? These all four quadrants complete the cycle. So it's about, we are talking about a system of engagement where you gather consumer insight. In system of records, you hold it in proper way. Then you can derive some intelligence out of that data that you have grabbed based on your customer interaction with you. And then based on that, you can take meaningful decisions and pass on that enhanced customer experience to your customer. So by utilizing all these things, you can consider yourself that you are a digitally matured organization.
All right, so into the previous slide, we have seen the advantages at the customer level, the customer experience level. We have seen the advantages at an enterprise level, right? We also got to know what are the major pillars, elements required for a digitally matured enterprise. Now, let us focus on what are the major challenges on the road to digital transformation.
Yeah, so when we talk about major challenges, Zubair, most important part that even users put it in their goal, resistant to change. People are accustomed with some current system that's are going on, and it's become very difficult to change that monotony. And then that's one of the problem where we talk about is resistant to change. Then we talk about lack of actionable adoption plan. That's again a big problem that we face, or you can say one of the important challenges which is on the road to digital transformation. It's about inadequate data management and analytics, because you don't have those systems in place where you can gather data, you can analyze data, and then you can infer some meaningful conclusion out of it. That's again you can say a challenge. And then using outdated and
correct. But the first and foremost thing that I also believe that there is like the readiness to change, right?
Absolutely.
Even that is something we have already experienced based on our previous polls, wherein most of the people have said that they have lack of digital initiative into the leadership, right? So first thing, you must have a resistance to change, right? You should be open and ready to accept that change. We understand, we know that most of the people are used to our legacy systems, right? Our organizational structure has fit into a place wherein we are all used to using the Microsoft Excel. So we have learned the challenges as well, and the first thing that we find is the readiness to change, right? Now let us jump on to the more important aspect of this session, which is which will highlight the industry specific use cases on how digital transformation is beneficial across various industries. And we will first begin with oil and gas. So this falls under the heavy industry category, of course, right? And we have seen through the research, through the analysis, that oil and gas has always proven to be one of the early adopters of latest technologies, latest tools in place, right? So when we look at this industry with the oil and gas, there are three major operations involved,
Yeah.
which is like the upstream, midstream, and downstream, right? So when we look at these three major operations, we always find that there is a possibility of improvisation. There is a possibility of how different techniques could be implemented in order to generate effectiveness.
Absolutely.
Right? So one of the crucial benefit that we see is the predictive maintenance and report analysis. So there are different gas pipes involved during all these three operations, right? So there are machines, there are gas pipes, everything, right? Now the predictive maintenance and this report analytics can be helpful in diagnosis of the different machines, of the tools implemented over there, right?
And you like this industry is utilizing a lot of IoT sensor-based technology in order to gather that data, and then based on that they can do their predictive maintenance planning. And apart from that, as we can say that oil and gas is one of the fast and early adopter of latest trending technology. So they are even going with 3D modeling of the rigs before they actually build it. And a lot of things are happening. When mixed reality people are talking about, in few of the cases, you will find that there is a geofencing kind of things where if an employee go out of that production area, the manager or supervisor will be alerted that this is the situation. And even all those big companies that we talk about, whether we talk about ADNOC and related entities, they are so advanced and they are adopting such technologies.
And do you know, Vidya, like I was reading one of the articles wherein Aramco has really announced their different initiatives of going digital, right? Wherein they were talking about adopting mixed reality programs for their training and development operations, right? They wanted to create a simulation structure using Microsoft HoloLens and other smart glasses to train their employees, so that they can be more prepared for operating the machines before going on the actual ground, right? Even there are companies like ADNOC, as you rightly said, right? They're also going ahead and focusing more on how they can generate the prediction based on the historical data, right?
Absolutely, and adoption of all these technologies even providing to provide some customer benefits. So we have, you can say, a retail point of sales, loyalty card management by having the right set of technology adoption. You can find e-filling over multiple fuel stations and instant invoice generation. So these are some of the customers benefits that they are getting. Even they are, you can say, doing going one step forward and doing a predictive analytics for their supplier and distributors, so that they know the consumption pattern of the oil and gas that they are taking from them, and then based on that they can decide their next cycle of, you can say, distributions. So now adopting technology is like boon for this industry, where they are providing a lot of insights and customer benefits to their real users.
Absolutely. In fact, Aramco has also created a complete smart connected worker solution, right? Wherein they are tracking and monitoring their workers. Yes, it's a sort of geofence defined area. So let's say if somebody moves out of that particular area, the floor manager, the plant manager gets a real-time alert, right? So they are able to track that. At the same time, they're also tracking the performance. They're performing the health of those workers by having some variable devices. Now let's move to the other industry. So manufacturing is also one of the very popular industry, I would say, who is also in the run of adopting the latest technologies, right? So when we speak about manufacturing, whether it is a rubber manufacturing company or it's a steel manufacturing company or it's a plastic manufacturing company, right? Everybody has their changeover processes, okay? And this process requires their workers to work on a single machine, which is installed into a same shift, right? So when they have to work on a single machine, there are different tools required. Now, digital transformation helps them optimize the CO process. There are different ways of doing that, right? You can have your mobility application based on AI technology that helps your workers to scan the QR code pasted on those machines, get the 3D model of that machine onto their phone, and then access to the procedures. Those procedures defines how they have to operate or work on this particular machine, right? At the same time, there will be a counter on that particular application, which counts the performance of your worker to do and conduct the CO process against the idle time. Absolutely. The reporting will be generated and that will be sent to the floor manager, right? So there are so many advantages on the industry side which digital transformation is providing. I mean, we can have manufacturing dashboards based on the real-time data. We can generate the analytics out of that data. We can present different KPIs onto the M dash, terminal automation could be done and so on. And the same reflects to the customer benefit side, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it improves overall user centricity by leveraging mobile-based AR/VR technology. They are enabling personalization by again adopting these technologies. And apart from this, like manufacturing units are saving on a lot of the cost by utilizing sensors. Now they have data that how many hours my machine ran for, but the amount of fuel it consumed, electricity it consumed, heat it produced. So based on that, they can optimize their entire workflow, and then that is helping them in actually saving the cost.
Correct. No, definitely. Yes. Now let us move to the another industry, which is healthcare. So what do you think about this particular domain?
So when we talk about healthcare, it is one of, you can say, the fast adopter, or you can say early adopter of digital transformation technology. And it is required because you can neglect a lot of areas, but you cannot neglect health. And by adopting these technologies, there are a lot of, you can say, enhancement has happened in terms of diagnostic and treatment of patients. They are utilizing cognitive computing and conversational AI in most of the things. Even they have done, you can say, centralized management of entire healthcare operation using web and mobility. Your data, your health records has been maintained on a particular place which is easily accessible, and yet they have, you say, all the security protocols are in place, whether you talk about HIPAA or any other compliance that apply to healthcare industry based on the country and the area. And by adopting this technology, like telemedicine solution is one of the, you can say, fast growing area of digital transformation, and we can say, and by utilizing these things, a lot of benefits has reached to the real users, or you can say consumers or customers. Now from a single mobile application, they can fix an appointment with their doctors, they can get their checkup done, they can even call this diagnostic people to their home to collect samples, their prescription can be done. Even they change doctor next time, they know they have all the data together in their mobile application, and with a single login they will have all the access. So these things have made life very easy for healthcare segment.
Absolutely. Even when we see the Vision 2030 of Saudi Arabia, wherein King Salman announced different initiatives they will be making within the kingdom, right? Healthcare is the topmost industry, right? Because we see there are a lot of initiatives happening surrounding conversational AI. There are so many things happening on sentiment analysis, right? Video analytics, even wherein they capture the expressions of patients after particular diagnosis and treatment, so that the doctors can record those expressions, and then they can maybe change the treatment, or whatever best they can do for that particular patient, right? So that is something very, very unique and very, very effective, when it comes to the doctor treatment to that particular patient. A sort of personalized treatment, I would say.
And many wearable healthcare gadgets are coming in the market that is readily measure your blood pressures, your heart rate, and all those things. Even your SpO2, your oxygen level, because of this COVID and all. So there are a lot of things happening in healthcare.
Absolutely, yes. Now let us move to the another industry vertical, which is automobile, right? So just to share some facts and statistics about this particular domain, according to Forbes, the growing digitalization and advancements in technology will have increased this particular industry, which is automobile, investment to $82 billion. That's right. It's $82 billion investment. The digitalization has increased into this particular group, right? I remember we have seen so many videos, in fact, so many things from Tesla,
Yeah.
right? We all know, like Tesla's enthusiasm and passion about adopting technologies is really unique, right? They always think about how they can make their vehicles more different, right? More advanced, okay? Even they have involved AI-based sensors into their different models that actually detects the fatigue level of a driver. It can also generate an alert if the vehicle finds the driver intoxicated. And I believe if this is the case, so companies like Lexus, Toyota, and they must, adopt this very soon. Why? Because it is going to help companies like Uber and Teki.
And
Right.
absolutely, like apart from this vehicle or car manufacturing company, even in larger vehicle, when we talk about trucks and all, people are adopting technology. Recently, Motors comes with a truck which can be operated from a mobile phone. You can start the engine, you can off the engine, you can monitor driver behavior pattern, and then the details can be sent to supervisor that how he is driving the truck, is a rash driver or is very good. Based on that, a rating can be done and his appraisal mechanism can be set. So a lot of things revolves around data, the different data points that you are collecting, and based on that you can always infer and take right decisions. And this even now what they are doing is you are getting virtual showrooms. So you don't have to visit a particular car showroom to buy a car. You can virtually go there on their app or web, and you can customize the car that the way you want. You can set the order and it will deliver to you. So now this industry is moving ahead from a brick and mortar kind of showroom to, you can say, completely a digital and virtual world.
Absolutely. Even the companies have tried doing 3D self-driving assessment using metaverse and extended reality, right? So you simply visit their showroom. They will make you wear some smart glass, or maybe they will give you some sort of 3D gadgets, and you can fall into their metaverse space. You can self-drive the vehicle, and you can gain the experience of driving that virtually. So now it's the time for our next poll. The question will be published onto your screen now. Okay. So the poll question says, where do you think you and your company are in the process of digital transformation? The options are there. We really want active participation of all into this particular poll.
Yeah, because this is really interesting. Let's see how the audience is reacting to our options.
All right, great. So here are the results. Let us share with you all. So most of the people think that they are looking for potential partners to help us with. So about 72% of the people have voted for this particular option, right? So what is saying with that?
So it means they are already on their digital transformation journey. They have already taken the first, you can say, two steps. Where they are ready for the change. They have decided where they want to do. Now they are looking for a right set of people who can come together, bring those technology set, and help them in, you can say, getting digitally transformed. So it's a very positive sign.
Absolutely. And even, in the upcoming slides, we will definitely be highlighting the strategies surrounding it, right? And you will also get to know what are the important points you must consider while moving on the journey of digital transformation. So let us now look after the other industry we have here. So telecom. Well, when we say telecom, it completely strikes Etisalat and maybe STC to my mind, right? Because I'm just sharing my experience. I was in UAE 2 months back, and I have been provided with the same of, GU Mobile. Yes, GU Mobile I have been provided. And as soon as I entered that, the number got activated, and then I have been provided with so many value-added services. Even I got the mobile application of View Mobile. So I, being a foreigner, right, I can operate so many information and details through that mobile application, right? So that was the customer benefit I'm talking about. Now let us see the industries. Even when you see Saudi Telecom Company, they have really implemented the smart cell tower monitoring. Now, when we say smart cell tower monitoring, they're monitoring the different cell units which are installed within the kingdom of Saudi Arabia itself. They have IoT-based tracking devices. They have even smart genset solutions implemented to monitor the generators, which are serving as a backup machines to feed power to those cell towers of STC, right? Even they are prominently monitoring the network availability. They are doing the complete fault management using IoT and sensor-based techniques, right? And most importantly, the backend team is really managing the customer segmentation, right? There are different techniques available, not just with STC. It's with different telecom providers as well. They are monitoring and managing the customer segmentation on the side of their value, on the side of their behavior, right? So they can work in the background how they can enhance the customer experience.
When we talk about telecom, two things stuck to our mind. One is about, you can say, talking to someone over phone, and then we talk about, you can say, a good internet connectivity. So this industry has moved along from a slow 2G kind of internet connectivity to we are talking about 5G now. And this adoption of technology and enhancement of high-speed internet services has even provided and created a separate industry that we are talking about OTT platforms,
right?
Where you do all the conjunction of your content over an internet. And that's only because of the right set of technology adoption in this telecom sector and providing a high speed, fast, easily affordable, easily reachable kind of internet connectivity even to the remotest of the area.
That's right. And just to add, even most of the telecom service providers, they have implemented conversational AI. Now, when we say conversational AI, it's more like the chatbot solutions. They have integrated that with their mobile technical support apps.
Yeah.
They have integrated to their web channels.
And they're multilingual.
Yes, they are multilingual. So even if you speak Arabic fluently, you can talk. Chinese, you can talk to them. They will answer you in Chinese. Even they can listen to you in Chinese or Arabic, right? And that way you can get your query solved just within seconds, right? So this is how the spontaneity they have created in handling the customer queries.
Yes. Now let's move to the next industry that we are talking about is BFSI. So again, we talked about healthcare, we talked about telecom. BFSI is a need of an hour. It's an industry that you cannot neglect. Your day-to-day activities is somehow related with, you can say, your banking and finance sector. And then they are doing really good in terms of having right set of technology in place and creating an omni-channel kind of experience for the users. That from one single web app or one single mobile app, as a user, I can do all my banking related activities, whether I want to invest somewhere, I want to transfer money, I want to buy an insurance plan, or I want to buy a movie ticket. From one single platforms, I can do n number of things even without visiting a branch. And that's only possible because of adoption of technology, and right set of technology leads to a better consumer experience.
True. Because we see, even during the COVID times, the banks, they were doing video-based KYC for their customers, right? So it really helped a lot in supporting the remote operations, right? Even you can have centralized banking mobile applications available. So if you are not in your home country, you are somewhere else, you have your banking point access to you, right? So the centralized banking, the eKYC, and most importantly, the UPI payments.
Yes.
right? You simply open up the phone, you scan the QR code, and good to go with the transaction.
And see, you can see this enhancement also coming into Google Pay and Apple Pay. They're NFC enabled. You tap and you do the payment. So it's all about adopting the technology.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, yeah,
Now we talked about, you can say, industry use cases. We even talked about cost of not going digital. Let's talk about some of the technology which is a backbone of this digital transformation journey for every organization.
right.
And we talk about these things in terms of like cloud computing, big data, AI, ML, blockchain. But it is not required that every industry or every organization needs everything. It's completely customizable based on their needs and their requirement. Suppose you want to automate your sales operation. So in that case, you need a good CRM that can capture data. You need an analytic platform that can assess and analyze your data and tell your sales guys that, okay, this person has visited your site uh, 5 times a day in one day, spend 2 hours, is a positive customer, so you can approach it. So you need that kind of insight. Again, when you talk about automating your finance operation, your HR, your workflow changes and accordingly your set of technology changes. If you are into warehousing, again your technology set change. You need to move ahead with sensor, IoTs, terminal automations, scanners, QR codes, and all those things. So these are some of the technologies, and right mix can make your organization digitally matured, as we talked
Absolutely, absolutely. And even, there are different processes that are very, very common to every business, to every enterprise, and that are like finance and accounting
Yeah.
processes. Because you have to make your guy sit who sends the invoice on a predefined schedule, right? The format is same, everything is same, and he simply need to, shoot that invoice on that specific date and time. So there, even RP is very, very
about. Yeah, you
helpful,
can automate
right?
that entire process.
Exactly. So the mundane tasks, the repetitive tasks can be digitalized, right? And even we heard the initiatives the UAE government is taking, right? So they are more aligned towards adoption of metaverse and blockchain, right? As a matter of fact, so many retail outlets has created their own virtual spaces. You can go to the metaverse application, you can create your own 3D avatar, and you can experience a complete digital journey through their applications onto their spaces, wherein you can find different commodities, you can see different products in 3D, and even you can make a purchase through cryptocurrencies, right? So there are so many initiatives, even within Qatar as well, right? We heard one of the press releases. Qatar is also planning so many initiatives surrounding metaverse and blockchain
Yes.
implementations.
Now let's talk about developing digital transformation strategy, because like this digital transformation journey is not you can say a one-day journey. As we all know, Rome was not built in a day, so you cannot digitally transform your organization just overnight. It takes a plan, a strategy in place, and the first part is to create a vision. So we need people at the top, at leadership position, to create that vision, to have that idea in place that, okay, let's go digital. And then also go and study the market. So you need to analyze your market to understand what your competitors are doing, what set of technologies are available, what are my cost benefit advantage in order to do that. And then based on that, you design your experience that now this is what I want to do, this kind of experience I want to give to my consumers. And then you, after designing your experience, you do a current standing assessment that where I am currently, where I want to go, what are the gap area. After doing this analysis, designing the experience, you go ahead and redefine your infrastructure and adopt a digital transformation journey.
Correct.
For your business.
Right, definitely with that. Even this is something I believe should be the right approach to start for any digital transformation, irrespective of any industry, right? Because first and foremost thing is you must have a readiness to change, and that creates a vision, right? And then you start prioritizing your operations, your business function, when you wanted to adopt that digital tool, and it can also help you to analyze the market. Do you check what your competitors are doing and how better you can design the experience, to serve your customer 3 daily, as we have seen into that chart, so this is really, really important, right? And this is even one of the part of the consultation as well, right? Okay, great. So yeah, so before we move ahead, it's time for our last poll. The question will be displayed on your screen now. So this will be our last poll. We request everyone to share their views, thoughts to it. And the question says, which functional area of your business you want to digitally transform? Great. So what do you think from these responses, Vidya?
Yes, so again, I'll talk about the majority of it. So majority of people are talking about customer experience transformation. So they are looking to.
Yeah, so sorry to interrupt you, Vidya, but it's like 87% of the people are talking about transforming their customer experience.
Everybody wants to, because ultimately a good customer experience leads to a happier customer. A happier customer leads to more spending, and your business is profitable.
That's right. That's right. Yes. Even we also agree with this particular fact that once your customers are happy, you will have a good business. Okay. And it always goes with a relationship that you build with your customers, and that always comes with the best experience you provide to them. Right. So, with this particular conversation, we now move to the end of our webinar. Now we have a question and answer session. So, the screen is open to you. Feel free to ask if you have any questions surrounding the topic we have talked, or maybe if you wanted to ask anything, feel free to shoot out on the chat window. We'll be happy to answer. Okay, so yeah, so let us take one question from here. The first question has been asked from Mr. Mohammed. Right. So yeah, definitely. I mean, when you talk about transforming your business digitally, so as we have already seen throughout the webinar, there are different steps required. The first and foremost thing is you must have a readiness and openness to change. Yeah. Now, if you are open to that, then definitely the next step is you have to prioritize which functional area you wanted to digitally transform. Because for every business, there are lot many things involved. There are not many things required. So we can prioritize that. And then the third thing comes the mapping of the right technology. Because you have to choose on which part is going to be digitally transformed.
And just to add on, you can say the law of digital transformation itself says that it's never a technology problem, it's a people problem. So if you have that readiness to change, you have that vision in place, then technologies are already there. Now, out of those technology, you have to pick and choose that matches your need and your requirement. So you can easily digitally transform your organization if you have a vision in place, you have defined your goal, you have right set of, you can say, consultants to help you in implementing those, and your technologies are in place. So you can digitally transform it.
Definitely. So let us take another question. Now, this question is asked by Mr. Faisal. So Mr. Faisal has asked, what are some of the digital technologies businesses must have to enhance customer experience 24/7? Okay, so that's a very good question, Mr. Faisal. Well, see, when you wanted to pick on the right technology to improve your customer experience, there are so many things. Maybe you can think about implementing a conversational AI or chatbot, that could be available 24/7 onto your different business channels. Yeah. Be it your website, be it your mobile application, or be it your social media tools, right? This conversational AI chatbot will be residing over that. It will be instantly answering the questions placed by a customer. Even if your customer inquires, you will also get an email. So maybe as soon as you'll be available, you can entertain that inquiry and you can take it forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's move on to other question that we have.
So another question we have got is again from Mr. Ahmad. Now he's asking, how can I measure ROI on digital transformation? Well, to answer this question, fortunately, we also have one of our expert into the panel board. So let me invite Mr. Naval, who can address this question.
Hello, Zubair and Vidya, and hello to everyone joining this webinar. I'm sure you must have had a wonderful time so far and must have learned a lot about the digital transformation. And I was really thinking about the ROI question to come up during the webinar thing, and it's here. So really eager to answer this question, and actually I have answered this question many other times as well. So as you must have learned about the digital transformation so far, so if you're implementing digital transformation into your business, and once you are done with the digital transformation, I'm sure you'll have all the data to know the difference between where you were earlier and where you will be once the digital transformation is done. So you can see the growth in efficiency to do any work in lesser amount of time in your organization. Next thing you can notice is you'll know about the leakage in the complete product development life cycle. Also, you can know, like, as I said, like you can know about the leakage in the complete product development life cycle. If you're taking care of those leakages, there it will definitely increase your profit, and also you'll be gaining the customer loyalty by providing them better customer experience. So data related to all these and many other factors will help you to measure the ROI on digital transformation. But it's just not limited to the calculation of the ROI on digital transformation, but it will also help you to plan the future of your business in a better way for long-term growth of your business profitability. So this is all I'd like to say about the ROI on the digital transformation. Back to you, Zubair.
All right, great. So thank you, Naval, for addressing this question. Let us, well, we are really running out of time with the end.
Yeah,
We have so many questions.
Yeah, I know we are getting a lot of interesting questions, and I want to take one more before we close in because we cannot neglect so many questions. A lot of requests are there. So let's take one last one. We have a question from Khalid. He's asking main risk of DT. So what do you think? What are the risks if someone adopts digital transformation?
Well, yeah, Mr. Khalid, that's really an interesting question from you. So let us understand first why digital transformation is required, right? So overall, we have given so many insights about the advantages. We have also seen the costs for not going digital, right? We have seen the advantages of both customer experience and enterprise level, right? So from the risk standpoint, what we see is it depends on which functional area you are actually digitally transforming. Overall, we do not find any sort of major risk. It's more like how optimally you are adopting the technology to grow your business.
Rightly said.
Right?
So most important risk for digital transformation is not selecting the right set of technology, and you can say not implementing it properly. So it's about creating a vision, doing a benchmarking, selecting a right set of technology, and then doing implementation in the right approach. If you are missing in any of these points, if you are you can say skipping any of these steps, then there is a risk for DT. Again, people will talk about that when I put everything digitally, there is a risk of my data security. It's again a big point that people talk about. But now we have, you can say, all those solutions in place that we can minimize even our data loss, even other kind of, you can say, malware or hacking that happens on our systems. So by adopting right set of technology, things can be improved. So we don't see any major risk into this. But yes, in order to implement, you need to follow, go with a stepwise process. You need to involve right set of consultants who are subject matter expert into this and can provide you right guidance for the implementation.
Yes, and just enhancing what Vidya just said is after even adoption, the most important thing for you is how you are maintaining that system, right? So let's say you have adopting something on the lines of data analytics, right? Now, how you are maintaining that particular technology is again a part of your business, right? It's again a part of you, so that the risks moving forward after adoption can be minimized or can be mitigated completely.
Absolutely.
Right? So Well, there are still questions, so we really wanted to address, but since we are running out of time, so we shall be connecting with you one on one. We shall be addressing all your questions. The answers will be sent to you on your email IDs, right? So, with this conclusory slide, we wanted to thank you all for actively participating and attending our today's webinar. If you have any more questions, these are our contact details, wherein you can always post your query. We'll be happy to address, right? And just to add, we shall be available in the GCC region after 25th of August. So we shall be primarily visiting Saudi Arabia, UAE, and rest of the regions for a month's duration. So if you are available, if you wanted to meet our experts with us during that trip, we'll be happy to schedule our in-person meeting wherein we can share more insights. Maybe we can listen more on your question side and we can address that well.
And you rightly said, it's always good to give face to a name. So we'd love to meet face to face and discuss further if there is anything.
Absolutely. So with this concluding note, we really thank you all for attending this webinar. We hope you find it interesting and it has provided you some insights. You can always subscribe to our channel, which is on hiddenbrains.com, and stay tuned with our webinar series. We shall be announcing soon on our next topic that we shall be conducting, wherein you can always learn what's happening into the technology and how it can be beneficial to your industry and domain. So thank you so much all for attending, for your patience, and for listening to us. Have a nice day ahead.
Have a nice day.